settled by the NFF, because obviously the NFF supersedes the LMC. So we might not see the last of this issue, but it's really unfortunate that all of this keeps happening in our football. You know, player torsos. When a player is doing well, you see so many agents, academy hovering around trying to lay claims to the players. But it's really not good for our football. But at the end of the day, it's the player that would suffer. Where Sunday back today, he was having an issue between Rangers and what he also was the owner of the player and all of that, and it really affected the young man's career. So Ogenekaro, he was the best player at the CAF Under-23 Championship, and he needs to get a good club side, just like Chisom Chikatara has done. So he needs to get a good club side where he can continue in his footballing career. But if all of this continues, then
obviously it's going to affect him. Yeah, the player will suffer. Oh yeah, before we leave this matter, I mean, you're just seeing those pictures. Pictures, they say, do not lie. Like, let me borrow your words, that they gave him an opportunity and he took it. That was what the young man did. But do you think this would test the resolve of issues like this? Because I'm very sure we're going to have similar issues like this come up. Do you think this would test the resolve of the LMC to ensure that we have a football league that's up to scratch, a football league that's, you know, maybe not compared to Europe, but at least can, you know, rank high like the North Africans?
Yeah, I think this is very few occasions that the LMC has come out to make a pronouncement as far as you know, transfer torso is concerned. You see, the fact is that we must protect the players. You know, they are the major stakeholders,
key actors,
especially as the game is concerned. So a lot should be done to protect them. And going forward, what they should do, simply let all the players, all the clubs produce their contract papers with these players before the season starts. The LMC, the Nigerian Football Federation, should have copies. So when such issues come up, you just simply refer to the documents. All right. We don't want to be hearing these issues. It's not pleasing to hear. The world is a global village. How can a player, you know, he left the shores of this country, a lot of people are bombarding the club, sending emails, claiming ownership of a player. You know, it's bad at us. So I think the Nigerian Football Federation, the LMC, must, you know, decide that this is what we want. If you're going to sign a player, you must have a valid contract.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about the Super Eagles now. And well, since the team crashed out of the African Nations Championship, a whole lot has been said about the manager, about the coach, Sunday Oliseh. And of course, today we'll be talking about Coach Sunday Oliseh. And of course, this is what we're going to be talking about. Right there on your screen, Oliseh Sean's NFF Technical Committee. It is interesting. Let me borrow the words of the coach. He said, in his contract, there is nowhere, it's written in black and white, there's nowhere that he is to meet. Okay, let me read this. It says the agreement, that's quoting Coach Sunday Oliseh, he says, the agreement from the beginning that he had with the NFF and signed and sealed, that I report to the General Secretary and not the NFF Technical Committee. The General Secretary has been briefed that we did not do well because we were broke. And he continues, he says, I personally have nothing to do with the NFF Technical Committee. The only thing I have to do is that they have an advisory role, and he said, we were very specific about that. That means talking about his contract. The words, you know, we have to be very careful. The words of Coach Sunday Oliseh. I mean, will this not, you know, let me first ask you, Uchi, that how do you react to this? I think that should be the first thing. Before I say that, would this lead us anywhere? The issue has always been there. You see, when Keshi was the coach, he had running battle with the technical committee. You know, I think there should be a line, you know, demarcating the roles of the technical committee and the head coach of the Super Eagles, or what other name that he has. What happened was Keshi was, you know, going, you know, to appear before them. Each time he submitted the team list and defend it, you know, rightly so. But Oliseh doesn't want to do that, and you cannot fault him. The man said it's included in his contract. And you cannot force him to do what is not in his contract. You know, he lives in Europe, and he does things according, you know, to the standards over there. So I think it's the problem of the Nigerian Football Federation. When you are drafting a contract, perhaps they felt they were such in a hurry to get a new coach. Perhaps they felt that coming to coach the national team was like a privilege.
you know, they were in a disadvantaged position. They couldn't bargain properly. If you sign the contract, then I can't fault.
You have to respect.
Yeah, I have my opinion about Sunday Oliseh, but in this, you can't fault him. It's a contract you have signed.
Let me have your opinion quickly as we move on to other matters. He said everything is signed and sealed in this contract, so he has no business with the technical committee.
Of course, it's quite simple. That's what is in his contract, and everyone has to respect what is there. But I'm sure the NFF technical committee would have their own side to the story. This is just from one side, and I believe there are two sides to a coin. But judging by what Oliseh has said, because we have to, speak about what he has just said. He said with the contract he signed, there was nowhere it was written that he has to appear before then, and that's just the way it should be.
All right, as we leave this issue and go and talk about teams that are still in the African Nations Championship, where does this leave us? Do you see crisis brewing in Nigerian football again? Or you feel that this issue will probably be swept under the carpet and we'll move on from there? We have a crucial qualifier in March. How do you see all of these issues?
Of course, there will be crisis. Because the gentlemen at the technical committee, we feel that that the coach is being insubordinate. They've been
snubbed, yes.
That they have been snubbed, and the issue of coming to defend his team list, they will feel that the coach has arrogated so much power to himself. But if you have signed the contract, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. But that was how it started with Stephen Keshi. Keshi, to be fair to him, appeared before the committee each time there was a national assignment. But sometimes he felt that not too satisfied with his response. Some said he was being too arrogant in his responses. Some said that he didn't give enough, explanation as to certain players that were invited to the national team. So in all these things, I think the best thing is to spell out clearly when you are signing the contract with the coach. Tell him that you're going to appear to defend your team list, your program, before the technical committee. And the technical committee should also be told that you must not, step beyond your boundary.
Okay. In his words, I'm sorry I have to bring this up because I can't just let it slip. And I allow you guys, we failed because we were broke. I don't know. His words, really. And I'm very sure the papers will be full tomorrow. A lot of interpretations. But we failed because we were broke. I don't know. I don't know, that line.
It could be one of the reasons. I don't want to be assertive. It could be one of the reasons. But in all Oliseh has said, he has not taken responsibility. And that's why the NFF are not happy with him. I mean,
that's why most Nigerians are not happy.
Exactly. As the coach, you need to take full responsibility for what happened because you picked the players, they went to Chan, and they failed. Even in a relatively easy group where you had the Guineans, you had Tunisia, and you had the Whipping Boys, the Nigerian Republic. So we were expected to at least, if not top the group, qualify as a second-place team that would have seen us qualify to the quarterfinals. But he didn't. His first major assignment, he failed. So if I were to be Oliseh, if I were to be in his shoes, like he did after the tournament, apologize to Nigerians, take full responsibility for what happened and move ahead. Because like you said, the bigger picture is qualifying for the Nations Cup. If after March 23rd and 28th, because those two games against the Egyptians are going to decide our fate, whether we are going to Gabon
and decide his fate.
Decide his fate too. Imagine if he doesn't get positive results, then for me it's just a gunner.
I know we have to react, but how do you react to that?
It's not that here nor there. You see, when the minister of a country, he appeals to the players, he's representing Mr. President. He told them that the money has been approved. And in our system, approval is not release of funds. It could take some time. And when the man has promised, like he did when he went to Senegal and they paid them before the final. Perhaps if they had gotten to the final or whatever, semi-final, they would have paid them. But when they have made that promise, then you have to take them by their words.
And motivate the boys.
So I think he's just, I think he has to take responsibility. He has to realize this is Nigeria, which he played for as a player. And as not the coach, the same situation Siasia and Moneke faced, and they won the World Cup in Chile. Siasia won the Under-23 championship in Senegal. In even worse situations, they were doing wash and wear. We learned wear the jersey today, wash
Wow.
And
Couldn't
play
even
tomorrow.
exchange
They
for
couldn't
position.
exchange. So he doesn't have any excuse, for goodness sake.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. But let's go back to Rwanda. Nigeria is not in Rwanda, but let's go back to Rwanda and allow you to enjoy this game. Semi-final match between DR Congo and Guinea. Let's allow you.